ongoing clergy sex abuse crisis, survivors want more transparency from this church. Critics say the bishop is out of touch with his community, due in part to a new 8-foot fence surrounding his East Side home. I-Team Chief Investigator Charlie Specht has the story.
That will become my residence, the bishop's residence, going forward.
In April of last year, Bishop Malone put his $1 million mansion on the market to help compensate victims of sexual abuse. He said it was a chance to meet a diverse population, going from one of the richest neighborhoods in Buffalo to one of its poorest.
It's a good thing for me to be over there. New peoples, immigrants, and others coming in, a lot of diversity.
But abuse survivors are now taking issue with the bishop's new residence here on Buffalo's East Side, especially after the bishop has installed a new fence that walls him off from the neighborhood and appears to be in violation of city code.
I think both of us were just shocked. I've never seen anything like that. I've seen a lot of bishop residences.
Kip and Stephanie McIntyre visited Malone's new home off Broadway this weekend. Stephanie, who says she was abused by Father Fabian Mariansky, wrote on Facebook that it was a, quote, stunning mansion, and that the bishop used hundreds of thousands of dollars in parishioner donations to customize the place.
It's a compound, definitely.
Yeah, Fort Malone is definitely the right thing.
McIntyre was referring to an internal church budget obtained by the I-Team last year that showed Bishop Malone spent $200,000 on upgrades before moving in. McIntyre's husband wrote on Facebook, "I believe our Savior advised his followers to store yourselves treasures in heaven, but this bishop seems to be storing up treasures in this massive earthly bunker compound instead."
To me, it felt like a big castle, and that the king didn't want the peasants to get too close to the building. If there was room for a moat, I think he would put it in. And I'm not sure what he's afraid of with putting up such a fortress to stop people from coming in.
Diocesan spokeswoman Kathy Spangler said in a statement that the diocese received a variance for a previous fence 11 years ago. She said the fence was, quote, in need of replacement when Bishop was preparing to move in, and that the new fence lowered the height by a foot. But we checked with city officials who said they had no permits for a variance on file. They said the maximum height of a backyard fence in the city is 6 feet, and the bishop's fence at its highest exceeds 8 feet. Internal emails show the bishop, before he moved into the property, complained about his friend feeling it was located in such a rundown neighborhood. Sentiments that offend victims like McIntyre at a time when the diocese is in crisis.
From what I see other victims, we're all just trying to move on with our lives, but you can't move on when you know a whole community is still being duped and lied to, and it's so disgusting.
Now, we did reach out to City of Buffalo building inspectors, and they say they will come out and inspect the fence now that they have been notified of it. The diocese could either be required to apply for a variance for the fence, or the city could force the bishop to remove it. For the I-Team, Charlie Specht, 7 Eyewitness News.